appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to tune into this live, whether you're during the live or if you're tuning in after the live has ended. I thank you so much. I hope you're having a blessed start to this trading week. It's depending on where you live. Where I'm at, it's where I have a winter storm warning right now, so we'll see what happens. Um, but please make sure to hit that like button as you get in here. We use the power of positivity. We try to be a more inclusive community. It's a very rough time in cryptocurrencies right now. A lot of people have lost their faith. I've noticed a lot of people's communities are losing a lot of viewership, a lot of, maybe not even just viewership, but a lot of that positivity when it comes into XRP or even when it comes into cryptocurrency as a whole, not understanding that we're reaching times of opportunity. These are exactly what we've been looking for. This is exactly what I've been begging the market to do. If anybody recalls 2 short weeks ago when Bitcoin was at 47,000 plus, I called for it to come down to 40,000 and begged it to come down to 40,000 so that we weren't topping. This is incredibly important, this 7,800 point drop or 7,500 point drop on Bitcoin roughly. It's more important than I can even explain in words. XRP reversing back down to this 534 support and ultimately hitting 524 again is important. Now, we'll take a look to see if we're going up to a rejection point or if we're going to come back down to a support or if we're actually ready for a reversal. But it was extremely important what XRP is doing right now, and I don't want anybody to be fooled. I don't want anybody to have a lack of understanding. I understand that a lot of people are giving up on XRP. I can see it in the comments. I've had more than 50 different people in the last 3 or 4 days state if you go through the comments in the last several videos, you'll see the same message being repeated time after time after time. I'm done. I've given XRP all the time I can give. It's nothing. All my other assets are doing better. XRP is lower than it was when Bitcoin was at 25,000, yada, yada, yada. I've heard it all. So what is the right answer? What are we supposed to do here? We understand. I appreciate everybody that's in here. 21 and 20 of you already hit the like button. That's incredible. Nothing more I can say to that. But what are we supposed to think? We're supposed to think exactly this. Yes, we're getting older. Every year we get a little bit older. We should pick up a little bit of wisdom, but we shouldn't look at it as, okay, XRP hasn't gone up. Crypto hasn't gone up in the calendar year or the calendar 2 years. But we have to understand that if you're in a cycle, you can't expect it to do something it can't. If you're in an accumulation phase, you can't expect it to go parabolic. If we haven't fully adopted to crypto, you can't expect it to go to those parabolic numbers that you're hoping for. You can't expect the market cap to increase and intensify at a level that's impossible. I think one of the biggest, detriments to XRP traders, especially out of any other community, I believe this true at a grand scale, the misinformation put out so that people will actually buy thinking that they're going to get 4 and 5 figures. That is the biggest misinformation that has ever been put out on any cryptocurrency. To say XRP can be where Bitcoin's at price-wise, it puts people in a mindset where even if they're going up 30, 40, 50% over a few months, 200-300% in a bull market, 400%, that they're like, what is this? I thought it was going to 1,000. I thought it was going to 5. I thought it was the next Bitcoin. See, just because we say it's the next Bitcoin, I think a lot of people think that means that XRP is going to be 40, 50, 70,000. When we say XRP is going to be the next Bitcoin, transaction-wise, people are going to use it to transact and send money instead of using Bitcoin. I can tell you if I send $800 in Bitcoin, there's no way I'm getting around a $30 to $40 fee half the time. The other parts, if I get lucky, it's no less than $28. Well, what's the lowest I've ever got on something like that? And I've done a few tests now. It's like anywhere between, you can guarantee yourself 24 to sometimes $50 to $60, depending how busy the network is. It's craziness. But if you send XRP that same $800, I'm getting $799.999999. Yeah, and if you're lucky, it takes 20 minutes. Normally, when I do it, it takes anywhere from 45 minutes to 2 hours, depending on how busy the network is. Now, if it's not busy, if the market's just kind of stable, it'll go in, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. No, I've never even got it 15. I think, no, maybe once. I think once I got it, I'm like, what the heck? But the fee was more exorbitant. And I'm like, well, I would have rather waited and not paid more of a fee. But, you can go on the Block Explorer if you send Bitcoin, and then you can see your exact block breakdown. And when you start to see how much it costs, that's what we mean, or I mean, when I say it can replace Bitcoin, not price-wise. Bitcoin's only got 12 million tokens, or 25 million, I believe. XRP's got right now 54 billion roughly. So it's a little different. So feels like he would say that, actually. You're right about that. You're right about that. Let me go in and say hi to everybody. And there was an update to terms of services as well. So if you're part of Tom's Army, there's a chance, especially if you're in a different country, or even if you're in a different conversion rate, that you're probably not in Tom's Army anymore. So just be wary. They updated their terms of services now. So you're going to have to go on there. And if you want to stay in Tom's Army, you're going to have to update it, and accept it. Because I know some people are going to end up dropping off, and they've been a part of it for a while, and they have it on automatic. So that was something I seen in my bulletin. So make sure if you want to stay part of the Army that you update it. If not, no hard feelings. I appreciate everybody who was in that's no longer in, or all the newcomers. I appreciate it. So let me timestamp this. Good early afternoon, 2:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, January 22nd, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I know I went through a little speech in the beginning, but it's so important for us to stay mentally tough. It's so important for us to stay focused on what the agenda at hand is and not get caught up in the short-term movements. Like we'll go through this step by step, and I'm going to fly through the midday market report on the top side, because I want to focus more on Bitcoin and XRP too on this live, but I still want to do the due diligence. So, True, welcome in. I'm glad to see you in here, my brother. UK Phil, I seen you in here as well. I seen a couple others. I need to see the comments again so I can properly say hello. So the Dow Jones is down 150, and if you want to send a thank you for paying it, or if you want to pay it forward for my time, you can always send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army. But that's about all I can say to that, because I don't like to promote outside of doing my show. So the Dow Jones Industrial it's up 112 points at 37,976. Angela, welcome in. I appreciate you being in Tom's Army for over a year. The I told you so badge lets me know you're part of Tom's Army for that long. I seen somebody on the top for 5 months. I did not see the name. Crap, I forgot who that was. But UK Phil, welcome in. Angela, thank you so much, love. Jose, good afternoon. So the Dow, let's see where we're at right now, because I want to get into crypto. The Dow, right now the technical move for the Dow Jones, we already know. Even if it doesn't bounce down, it's still the same target. We're bouncing off that same support. We did it over here. It was just a matter of if it would come down, so we targeted there as well. But the technical target is 39,984. It's 40,000. So if Bitcoin pushes up the next layer, the Dow pushes up the next layer, the technical target's 40,000. And it looks like we're trying to breach unless we came to a quick head, but we'll see. Colin, welcome in. Bro, we see the end game. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. John Hall, welcome in, my brother. I appreciate you tuning in, as always. So that's the Dow. It's either we continue moving up, or we would reverse back down. And your first sign that we'd be coming back down to that technical target around here at 36,251 on a breakdown would be if we lost 37,274. As long as we bounce off of that, we have a technical move near 40,000. And I would be shocked if it doesn't reach it. It's just, we're in an election cycle, a lot of money to be spent by the Fed. They don't have to pay taxes now on their trades. So it's all the perfect storm for this kind of stuff. DXY is at 103 spot 335, up 9 basis points or 0.09%. Technically, I've run it off at 2 different trajectories here, whether it wants to come back down to the 200 or if it wants to make a break now. But I still find it highly suspect that it's going to be able to push a big move here without a further consolidation. But I figured I would do my due diligence. But that's only if it were to hold. If it breaks down, you're coming back to 101.69, and it's not even close if you lose that 200-day, and that's down here. But I want everybody to be able to do it without me saying it. So sometimes I will do stuff like this so you can see if it breaks from here, we're going to there. If it breaks from here, we're coming to here. Breaks down from here, we already know. Even if it, no matter what, if it loses the 200, we're coming here. And then if it loses that, you got the next part of the pattern. Then you got the overall pattern formation. So we're in the 2-hour sense here, so just pay very close attention. All the information's there. U.S. 10-year government bonds is down 0.36% or 2 basis points at 4.11%. We talked about, where did we talk about? Well, I can't talk about where did we talk about because I don't know if somebody's new. So we've been talking about that XRP, that the 10-year government bond could come up to 4.17% before a reversal. Came up a little bit higher. It came up to 4.198 roughly. So, and now it's reversing. Now we're going to be watching. It should get this proper rejection like it looks like it's following through. Now we should come back down to about 4.05% to see if the government bonds are ready to move, or are we going to come farther down and create an inverted head? Because that was our anticipation when it was up at, it was way up here. And then I drew this out before this started forming. It just happened to follow it so closely. But we'll see now. We'll see if this was an overzealous run-up and the DXY starting to come down. And if it is, I have a feeling that this is going to end up breaking down to about 3.7. It's just if the government, or the DXY continues moving up to, let's say, like a 104 maybe, 104.5, I could see this running up just a little bit higher. Like, I could see them pushing 4.4 maybe, just to make it a little suspenseful, and then just dropping the hammer again. So we'll see. Don't lose your money in the government bonds, because even if you're collecting 5% over a year, you know inflation's going up faster than 5%. It doesn't matter what they say. So U.S. oil, all you need to know is when you're paying your bills, you're going to the grocery store, you understand what's going on when you're paying your insurance on your house, putting gas in the tank. Understand things aren't as good as it is, as they're saying. We're going to get to Bitcoin very quickly. U.S. crude oil is up $1.32 or 1.8% to 74.72. Mariano, thank you. Yes, stay strong. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, and we'll get into more stuff about my personal life later, but that's for later. Matt, welcome in. Update of service fill. 5 months. Thank you so much for that, my friend. 5 months in Tom's Army. Yep. That's the, yep. You have to, yes. That's UK fill. Nope. That's what yep. Yeah, anybody, it was automatic, but they did update this. See, I knew this was going to happen. That's why I brought it up. If you're a part of Tom's Army, it was automatic, but when the terms of service updated it just updated. I got a message to remind my audience, but I don't even like to do that because I think it's begging, but it's really not. I mean, you were already in Tom's Army, but it's not renewing for some. It depends which countries you live in. But it gave me a bulletin on when I logged in this morning. I should have mentioned it in my first video, but I didn't. So yeah, you have to re-up. You're going to have to do it and just put it back to automatic. So I apologize for that. I don't know why they did that. Yeah, Bitcoin below 40,000. That's why I started the title. Are we going to go below 40? But we got to hurry up and get there. So crude oil up 1 point. Thank you, UK Phil. I appreciate you continuing on. I really do. Is at 74.79 up $1.40. And we know what we talked about for the last couple weeks. If you're new here, we've got 2 choices here. We can, one, come up here to 75.50 and get a rejection, which is close. I don't really know if that's going to happen. I really think it wants to come up here and refill out the pattern at 79.30 per barrel. So that's $79.30 for WTI. That's crude oil, but that's priced in US dollars. Hey, I appreciate that, UK Phil. You'd be surprised how many people don't share in that philosophy and think I should do all of this just because. So I do appreciate that. And the rest of you that are in Tom's Army, it's incredibly important. Gold's down $10.17 or 0.5%. This is what we've been hoping, begging, just like with crypto, to come down. What's our target, everybody? What are we begging gold to do? Unless it just wants to fill out a shorter pattern, which is fine. We needed it to consolidate. Look how we were starting to get overextended here. Even in the 2-hourly, it started coming back down now. This is what I wanted. We wanted a play down instead of a play up. You don't want that short-term gain just so it can come down and kick you in the you-know-what. That was our uptrend. Looks like a little bit of a reversal here. Looks like we should start trending down a little bit. So now the question is, because we're getting rejected here, I told everybody I talk about it this week. When we get into B2 gold, now that it's starting to break this structure, do we A, dump it and try to wait for that push to $2.40 that we've been asking for a very long time? Or do you hold it because you're starting to become oversold in the 4 hourly, 3 hourly, 2 hourly is starting to, it's eking out its own little thing. 45. Got a lot of room here still to the top side. Sounds good. Or do we just keep buying it on the way down? I would love to hear everybody's interpretation here. The dividend right now is at 5.59% as of this morning. So you're going to get paid a dividend. And I put $400 a month, FYI, into B2 Gold. So that's why I'm asking. I have an average price right now of $2.91 with every buy I have, and it's almost 1,400 shares. And I'm more of the, I just accumulate along the way, but if I see an opportunity to get rid of it and buy it back, I certainly would. And this is the extension area. I've done this 100 times over. The question is sometimes you start to get a little too frisky and eventually you get beaten over the back of the head with it. Now, if I said my average would be $2.91 with B2 Gold in 2021 after I sold it, I would have said, you better fucking take it. Are you out of your mind? Because when I sold it in 2020, wait a minute. I think it was 21. It was 21. I was thinking it might have been 20. No, it was 22. It was 22 because I sold it at almost $5. It was like $4.70 something cents. It might have even been right here. No, it was 21 because I didn't ride it all the way up to $5. It was $4.69 area, so $4.60 I'll say. Then it swung back around. I had a swing trade somewhere. I didn't ride it all the way to the top, but my initial where I was holding it from had a nice bounce up, but I remember it was like $4 and it was up over almost $5. And now it's like to buy it back here. And the dump we've had from the tops, it just makes it interesting to think that I would even say maybe, you could dump it and then rebuy it back when it's 62% from the high that we were in, if not more. So you're going to get for 38 cents on the dollar. Crypto Scrooge, how's it going, my friend? Thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for 2+ years. He's got the 589 moon badge, not $589 like everybody kept saying for the end of 23, 0.589 cents like I kept trying to instruct everybody that that's where it was going to be. And we had a beautiful time for an accumulation phase in 23. And until 28, it's not going to be what everybody wants because we're not into the financial adoption yet. What I mean is the institutions, banks, and that adoption only comes when you don't have to use the old HTML framework, and that can only happen when all the extensions expire, and you can't do a 50-50 split between HTML and the ISO new framework, and that can't start till 2028. Make sure to follow Crypto Scrooge as well. He covers everything from the XRP ledger to XRP. It's a solo, Corium, a lot of information. There's no reason he should be under 1,000 subscribers. No reason. Too much information. So give him the benefit. PAX G right now. I hope everybody listened, waited until the weekly closed on Sunday, and then when you seen it, you sold out of it. Or you found a way to sell out on Sunday, because I told everybody you had until Sunday when the weekly candle closed to see if it was going to start out bearish. And the moment you seen it started out bearish, you should have been out. Once you seen the red part of the candle, I tried to explain it all week. So now we wait for opportunity. It came down to the weekly support on the 20, but we broke the structure. So again, what's going to happen here? And I appreciate 67 people waiting this out while we're going through the midday market report. We're almost back to Bitcoin. I only got 2 more things, and then we're back to Bitcoin. But this is one that we tend to futures trade a lot. So we're trying to find an opportunity. If gold's going down, this would come down. But remember, we already had a pull down to 1984. So that could mean that this is putting in a sneaky bull flag here. And yes, it does look like this is a reversal candle starting. So I want to know an opinion again. Would you buy this now? Or looking at it, do you believe that it has more room down? I keep asking this because I want to see where my audience is at. And this is how I get the education to myself to know what more I need to tell the audience. So That's this. If we do get rejected at 2009, which short term, we haven't yet, but if it were to come up to 2009 and get rejected, that'd be a key sign that we're coming down lower. We've definitely got a formation that we could print out here, and I think everybody who's part of the audience understands what's going on here all of a sudden. I think it's pretty clear. Well, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I think it's pretty clear what's happening. It's not done drawing yet. Hold on. Or I'm not done drawing. It's not a robot. But that's what we're doing. So that's the kind of little, we've kind of formed this outside of the wider pattern formation that we've been in for some time. So consider this your overextended area. This is basically your that's not right. This is basically your overextension. If it comes below this, get ready for a drop. Nobody can say how far, but I'll measure it out later. But that's what we're looking at there. Yes, gold is promising, but sure, yep. I believe it's promising, but we need this retracement. We really do. Zenda, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for tuning in. Zenda is in, I believe the XRP predictor that she has is month 6. I believe it's month 6, but it's been so long since I did it, I can't remember. So I appreciate you continuing to be in Tom's army. Gold silver ratio 91.51. Beautiful time to buy silver, up another 2.05%. $1.81 per ounce. Came right up to our technical target. Absolutely beautiful. We've been anticipating this for some time. It just consolidated for a while. Now you're at an opportune time to buy silver. I mean, it's already been when it's over 80 to 1, but a beautifully opportune moment here. So what that means, it's at 91.9 to 1 roughly. That means if you buy 91, let's just say 91 ounces of silver today, my philosophy is you hold on to it until it gets closer to 40 to 1 gold to silver ratio if you want to pick up some gold. So then you could, theoretically, you would give them about 42 ounces or 43 ounces. You got to pay the differential. It's going to be a little bit of a fee. And then you'd be able to keep over 57 ounces of silver and have an ounce of gold. So it is what it is. Gold was made a new all-time high. Silver's not even 50% of what it was in the 70s. Consider that. Most manipulated commodity in the world, or metal in the world, and the most undervalued. I don't care what you collect. I don't care what you own. I don't care what you call money or currency. The most undervalued commodity, collector's item, building material in the world is silver. So, you know, it is what it is. It's up to us to take an opportunity and know what to do with it, but most won't. Silver, it's in this little falling channel segment, which I think is beautiful, because if it would have broke up, we would have had to go to 25.69, and we already know what would have happened. Would have double topped. We already see how it was printed out. So if you didn't want the double top, you couldn't have that print. It did exactly what we called for in the beginning, but we begged it and begged it. Everybody remember the X marks the spot if you're part of the community. If you're new, it's going to be hard to follow along. I apologize, but this is X marks the spot, and I'm very happy 74 people decided to stick this out until we get to Bitcoin, because you're getting some nice info when it comes to precious metals, and the way to, this is the real way to start a savings account. If you want to save money, the realest way to save money and never touch it until you need it, even though you shouldn't ever want to use it unless it comes to that moment, is when you do it. It's kind of like when you go to the bar, right? When you go buy stuff you don't need. When you spend $400, it's gone, right? Or $100 or $50. Instead of doing that, start thinking your money's gone in the same way, but putting, like, even if it's only 20%, 10%, 5%, start out with 5. You make $100, take $5. You make $1,000, take 50 or 100, 10%, take 100 and buy some silver. Act like you've just spent that money and it no longer exists, because it's not physically seen in your bank account. You can't see it in cash. But guess what? After a few years of doing this, all of a sudden you look around. It's what happened to me. And you're like, what the hell? I'm starting to look like Scrooge McDuck. That's who I want to be. So just pay attention to that and watch for X marks the spot with silver. Because even in today's life, I don't keep a lot of cash on hand. I don't keep a lot of cash for assets. You know, just enough to do what I need to do. I've got a nice amount in crypto and whatever, and for me, and all this other stuff. and the stocks. And basically, I have a savings through B2 Gold as well, like 4 or 5,000. I like to keep within it. It pays a 5.5% dividend right now. It's just sometimes I got to be frisky and I got to bounce in and out of it. That's why I was asking in the opportune moment. But I actually don't mind riding at the 240, and then hopefully it'll be down there for 2 months, and I'll go 400 because I take $400 a month from when we paid for Julie's car because I didn't want to finance it, so we just paid it in cash, and or for her SUV that we got end of last year, and I pay myself back instead of paying the dealership $400 a month. I invest it, or well, I pay Julie back basically. We pay ourselves back. So yeah, that's what we do. Rather pay myself than pay somebody else. But you have to be in the position to do it. I couldn't do it again if I wanted to. I don't have the assets. Well, I have the assets, but I don't have the liquidity to do it because I'm not selling out of what I have. Because there's something special. And plus, a lot of what I have is put into precious metals so that it's just gone. Yep, collect silver bars. Absolutely. That's a beautiful thing to you, UK Phil. Unbelievably important. Infamous sunny days indeed. Sunny days indeed. So that's what we're looking at for silver. Watch marks the spot. And then Fortuna Silver Mines down to $2.88. We said don't buy it until we see if it comes back to our first possible break point. And what happened? Instead of just breaking down to there, completely reversed down. Now we're down to the overextended area, and we might be breaking down from there. But we'll see. But if you were going to buy Fortuna Silver Mines, there was no reason to even attempt to see what was going to happen until it came all the way back down to about $3.18 or $3.20 is what we were talking about. Broke through there, saved ourselves a lot of money if you're looking for Fortuna in the future, because technically, if it breaks this, because they had bad earnings and their mine, I believe in Mexico it was, I could be wrong, but one of their mines, I think it was Mexico, it underperformed, not B2 Gold, but it underperformed on Fortuna, and B2 Gold, we've seen that, but I don't know why I was talking about that still, but I was like, that didn't drop enough. Fortuna, we talked about $3.18, and that was our spot. Are we going to buy it? But because we didn't, because it fell right through, now it's all the way down here. Now the question is at, what is it, $3.07. Look how oversold it is. The problem is that Mexican mine, it underperformed. They had to shut it down. There was nothing. They expected it to be rich. It was bare as can be. It was bare as can be. So it was a very big shot in the arm. And the other thing was they underperformed in earnings. But that is all because of the, what do we call it? The inflation around us. Because the U.S. dollar was so overvalued in 23, it made commodities look like they were, or precious metals look weaker than they were. So yeah, death cross starting in the 4 hourly. So this is up to you. Educated and informed. Doesn't pay a dividend. I'm not buying it. Not yet. I got to see how it reacts, but it doesn't even pay a dividend, so it doesn't do me any good. So, and now to Bitcoin. How many people stuck around? 73 stuck around, 68 likes. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate it. Please make sure to share this on social media. It does help. It'll allow us to continue growing this community. I'm actually blessed that there's so many people in here with the market doing what it's doing. But as I asked, would Bitcoin hold 40,000? It has not. Down 1,700 points. But guys and gals, are you being fooled here? I'm about to take out a long here on Bitcoin soon. I never trade Bitcoin, but look how oversold it's getting in the 4 hourly. I'm lying. I'm not going to take it out in Bitcoin. I never would do that. I'll take it out in XRP when it presents itself. I couldn't stomach taking out a position in Bitcoin. But there's going to become a point if it continues diving like this, Bitcoin's going to end up hitting a trajectory where it can't go no lower for a minute. Bitcoin, if it wants to come down here and rebounce the consolidatory zone, man, the dominance would still have to come down that far, though. For Bitcoin to go up. Oh, kind of looks like the dominance is trying to take control here to go up to 51.7. Anyhow, sorry, I like to bounce around when I have an idea. So we came through this critical line. Support area down at 39,868 we've touched now. Remember our technical target? It doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. When you do the technical targets, they don't lie on a breakdown. That was a measured move from 43,505 down to 39,868, which is fulfilled now. So the other thing, when we were desperate for this to come down, as we talked about in the opening, we talked about when it was all the way up here, and I put a marker here that said we had to alleviate the relative strength index and we'd be coming to 40,600. That was our first target. After that, we knew it was 40,300. On a breakdown from here, technically now it's opened the door for 38,533 if it plays this appropriately. That would mean it would have to get a rejection there, right around 40,550 area, roughly where it's at. And then it would come down even farther potentially. But right now, all eyes should be on the fact that this technical move is fulfilled now at 39,868 from the last drop point of 43,500. It was just about, what is that, almost a 4,000 point drop it was going to be. 3,700 points from where it was at. So now it's completed both parts of this drop. If it completes another drop, it's a problem because this is the head formation we talked about. If it breaks the head formation, we're screwed. If the head formation breaks, the Bitcoin rally is done. Because if it breaks 38,533, actually, you know what? Technically, we could come down to a shoulder and say, hey, it's an overextended head, but that's real dicey at 35,400. If you break 35,400 area, it's over. It's pretty much over if you break 38,530 or 38,500. Because now you can see the heads formed. And then if you come down here, how often have you seen this? If it were to happen. If. It's not guaranteed. But how often have you seen if it were to break here just to come up here? Or even come up here just to kind of do something like this and then come right back down. It happens all the time. So we don't want to put it in a position where it can start putting in that head and right arm. Because that neckline looks pretty formed there if it does come down. We can see we came to a top head too. So, okay. Thanks for your awesome XRP update. Oh, you're welcome, Chris. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. I greatly appreciate that. Familian said silver was almost $50 late 70s. $50 was then worth 20 times. Absolutely. That's the crazy part of it. $50 back then is like $1,000 right now, probably in inflation terms. You can't even, maybe not that much, but you can't even compare it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it is. Inflation's so far the other way that it costs you 10, 20 times more. That's not a joke. So that's Bitcoin. What do we think about Bitcoin? Do we think Bitcoin's going to continue going down? Or do we think Bitcoin actually has a somewhere where it can hold strong? Is it coming to 38,533? Or is it now going to come back up and use this as a support? Because it looks pretty dicey right now with Bitcoin. XRP down 3.75%, lost 1.07 billion in the market cap. It's at 0.5262. I know everybody knows how I feel about this if you're part of the audience. I'm very excited about this. Everybody, oh, you son of a bitch. They always call me it. You always want XRP. It's not because I want XRP to go down. I don't want this to be the end move for XRP in this cycle. If XRP would have kept going up, sure, we get to touch 70 and 80 cents. More than likely 77. But it would have been done. If we would have kept going from where we were at, it was done. If it would have kept going here from 73, it's done. We were so overextended, that was it. Had we have went overextended ourselves there, it would have been over. Now, and even in the daily, after today, we're going to be an oversold. We're going to be an oversold after today if it keeps coming down. And what I've been saying is, I don't want 534 to hold. I want it to come right down here and double bottom. 498, 497, 495, haven't overextended to 49 and then come right back. Just come down there and do it. We need to satisfy the death cross in the daily and get it over with. Huh? Yeah, I know. How much is it? Which one? Let's see. Yes, it's my fault. Exactly. That's what they always say. Always, it's my fault. But you know what? I'd rather be, I would rather be telling the truth and have less people watching than be BSing and everybody lose their money. That's just the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So, the daily right now, I encourage it to come down a little bit farther. Me personally, I encourage it. I implore it. I demand it. I implore it, and I embrace the fact that I want it to come down right here. But I can also tell you categorically, I don't want it to break below this, because if it breaks below this, we're coming right down. You know what? If it wants to finish back the consolidation of the rising channel of 2022, you know what? Never mind. Okay, it could be a 5.9, but what we want to see is a 16% drop, and everything. Oh my God, he's killing us. 16%. Come back down to the bottom of the rising channel. We would overextend ourselves beyond belief, even in a daily time frame sense. And guess what you'd be looking at for the next bounce? You'd be looking at, let's call it, it's not going to take till May though. Fuck it, let's just say it's April, who cares? Look at this bounce though. Now you're looking at a bounce to the rising channel resistance that would be at 68.64, assuming you get over that pivot point of 535. I've told everybody that pivot point's a pain in the ass when you're below it. If you're below it, it sets up for nice drops. If you're above it, it makes nice gains. It's just done it for whatever reason. If you go back in the history, that level, it's a crazy one. But that rising channel, it's still there. And we'll continue to call it a rising channel, because it tried to come up and fake us out all the way up to 93 cents with the fake news, and then again with fake news, and again with fake news. And now it's actually back in the consolidatory phase. We know we have a weekly golden cross. How much longer does that stay intact? The good news is, for a little bit, that'll still be a weekly golden cross, unless this comes down to the bottom of the rising channel and sits there for a couple weeks. Right now, though, XRP, if you're looking at it from a weekly sense, this is the second weekly candle that we've held, that 52.20 level, which is the 200-day right now. We did have a weekly candle that came below, but immediately pulled back up. And these could just be exhausting the consolidatory phase here. This could be weekly time frame, though, has a lot of room to come down still. That's what tells me if we want to reverse this all the way down in a weekly sense, you have to come way farther. That's never a guaranteed thing. And then the monthly. The monthly's already going to come down a lot. Let's call it for what it is. The monthly started around 63. Where's the high? 64 cents. It opened at 6078. So from 6078 is where you would start it on the monthly. So we've come down from there. And this is how you clear out the relative strength. You have to come down from the high or the open. So right now we're down about 11-12% on the monthly. Might be in our best interest to come down here and just clear the rest of that out. Oh no, it's absolutely, this is how they push people out. But think about it. We've had two big runs. Every single time before the run up, we've had a huge shuffle. It's not going to be any different this time, ladies and gentlemen. It never is. It's always the same. Watch. That's why I always say emotionless. You have to understand the accumulation phase. And you have to understand the fact that you're not looking for that short-term gain today, money-wise either. Hey, thank you so much for that $4.99 donation. First one of the day. I greatly appreciate that. That helps me so much, more than most people know. Because I don't do any of the paid promotions, advertisements, or sponsorships, I've cost myself thousands of dollars a week, if not more. So when somebody sends a donation, joins Tom's Army, it helps more than you could ever imagine, because I'm not taking any of the perks that are offered to me, because I'm trying to keep this a exclusive community where you don't have to sit through paid promotions and all that bullshit. Hey Tom, do you think XRP will be a stable coin? What prices do you predict? Thanks for all you do. Go blue and roll tide. I am Yokes. Yokananada. $4.99 donation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do think it's a stable coin. I've said it since the beginning. I think it's a stable coin. XRP having the circulating supply that it has of total maximum circulating supply of about 99.94 billion. There's a reason why. I think it's going to be just like you see today. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just like I'll use the exchanges as an example. I'm going to start using this going forward. Nobody better leave right now, because we're going to see exactly what's going to happen with XRP. It's going to be hot and heavy. I still can't believe 75 people are here with the market like this today. That means a lot to me. You have no idea. To have that many people here when the market's just imploding, most people go running scared, and most Most influencers are nowhere to be found on the drops. They're all flamboyant on the bounce up, but they might as well be playing Where's Waldo or Where's the Influencer when it drops. You know, when you need them most, telling you what the hell's going on. So, with XRP being a stable coin, I think just like the liquidity you get with exchanges, oh yeah, and Roll Tide, yeah, I seen that. I like Alabama. It's just it's gonna be hard right now for Alabama, but they got a good coach. That came now behind Saban. So as far as a stable coin, XRP, consider it like the exchange, how they have USDT Tether. So the exchanges look like they have a lot of liquidity because they have Tether on the books. It's nothing more than printed up nothing. It's like currency in the USA. It means nothing. It's just a bunch of negative numbers. So it keeps the books looking better. That's what I think XRP is going to be for banks. I think it's going to be a liquidity hub where it's going to make the banks look like they have active liquidity, but all it is a bunch of dead tokens it could possibly be. Which why I say dead is because it'll be in the hands of the banks and they'll make the price whatever it needs to be to make the liquidity pool look proper. If the banks need XRP to be $10, it'll be $10. If they need it to be $1, it wouldn't be able to. It'd be too low at that point. But let's say they need to be 10, 50, maybe 100 if you're lucky. But I see that $10 level as very desirable for a bank, especially let's say they have 30, 40, 50 million XRP on hand and they got $10 a token. You can do the math. That creates a lot of liquidity. A lot of liquidity. So, but yeah, in the USA, it doesn't seem to matter, does it? True. But that's why this can only happen if we go to a digital system. Then it would matter in the USA. Right now, it doesn't matter. If we have paper money flowing in the USA, doesn't matter. Excuse me. Paper currency. Because it's not money, it's currency. Nothing more than tether. Fake. Printed. Means nothing. You can't hold it. You can't smell it. There's no asset backing it but tether basically itself. And we found out I don't even want to go into it. But yeah, I think it's more of a stable coin in that sense. It's going to help push liquidity to the banks. Now, if the banks need $100, they could put it to $100. It's just that would be your artificial liquidity pool. And it would make it look like they're good on the books. They can cook them however they want. But us as bankers, or us as the ones who put our money in the banks, I don't trust them, but for the ones who do, I have less than $100 in the bank right now. Paid my bills this month, clears out the liquidity, done. Then next month I'll do what I need to do, keep the liquidity I need, and I don't trust the banks. So, but yeah, that's what I see it as. But XRP right now, as we're here in the moment, down 3.94%. If we look at the daily, this is beautiful because if it continues to roll through the daily for the next 4 hours and 23 minutes until 7 o'clock when we close, this is how we'll get that nice breakdown in the daily time frame. I almost feel like it's trying to tell us something, though. The last couple are kind of putting in some bearish hammers telling us, hey, it's not over yet, but you need to start opening your eyes that this pattern is going to start cooling down and we're going to have a reverse rally. Just like when we got to the top, you're going to need to have a reverse rally time when you get back up. And it might be speaking that right now. 4 hourly is getting into the extreme oversold areas. Extreme oversold, honestly. It's just it could come down farther. This is where we're testing the neckline right now at about 19.8. So just be cautious of that. We're testing the neckline here. I put it at 19, or actually it might be a little higher than that. Right around 20. So if it holds 20, it could be interesting. I am Yokes with the $9.99 donation. Thank you so much. This third donation sent. Third super on the live stream. What about XLM? And I feel like everyone... Hold on. What about XLM? We're getting to XLM. I want to read the rest of your comment too. But we are in the red here, folks. Most times, even when we hit the red here last time in the relative strength, even the weak bounce back, we went from right around 53.4 back up to 55.4. Could this be a similar event of 51.6 back up to 53.2 or 52.5? I think it might come up higher than that, though. Because if it comes back in here, oh man, this when it starts doing stuff like this, it becomes volatile. Now we can start talking that ugly, beautiful, fantastic word, the broadening wedge. The broadening wedge is the reversal part of the pattern, whether it's going to continue on or it's bearish. And I am personally in favor of when it gets to this part of the pattern. Makes my work a lot easier, my job a lot easier for myself when I'm trying to look at the market. And some people are like, oh, it's not a broadening wedge. You're always so quick to jump out. Yeah, but it plays out eventually. So I like jumping to the conclusion. I mean, to me, it seems like, I don't know, but it seems like it's trying to tell us something here. So if it holds this formation, you're going to get a kickback. And if it's playing the wedge, it looks kind of broadening. It's going to be a 4% kickback to the top, only to about 53.6. But that would just be the next step in this little move. So I think that's what we're doing. I think we've diagnosed it now. Support 1, resistance 1, support 2, resistance 2, confirms a broadening wedge, support 3, back to resistance 3. And then does that make us come down? Because I don't know if we've got enough steam just to come down. If it does, then you can back test this and then you would know. So if that's what's meant to be. 45-minute closes in about 24 minutes. Speculative at best to see what this candle is going to do. I know we're going to rotate down, but it might rotate back up before the candle even closes because it came all the way to 51.7. But as we know, it came back to 52.4. So it's going to start kind of looking like it'll be down, but it'll start going like this a little bit. So you'll start angling back up. And that's just what starts to happen with the relative strength index because it's a lagging indicator. If it's a 4-hour time frame, if it came down and then that wick starts pulling up, you'll get the straight down, but then you'll get a bend and you're like, or move back up and you're like, well, when the hell did the bend happen? And the down, I was waiting for the down. That's the lagging part of the indicator. That's why you got to stay in the 1, 5, the 1, 3, 5, and 15, maybe the 30 as well. But I like the 1, 3, 5, and the 15-minute for an immediate snipe, especially the 1, 3, 5. But I may have to make sure the 15's lined up. The 30's not as important. 1, 3, 5 to get the exact snipe. 15 to make sure it's not going to rotate one level down farther. That's how I do my futures trades in or out. XLM minus 2.62%, down 0.003 to 11.2 cents. XLM, and I know it probably pissed people off, but I was asking for it to come down and retrace again, and it has so far, and it's in the same broadening wedge. And this one is diagnosed more in the 45-minute. Actually, it might not be let me go to a lower time frame for XLM. Yeah, I am going to be that petty, I think. I'm going to be that petty. I don't know if it's a... This one's interesting. Because this one's definitely coming out. How did I... So this one's definitely coming out like this. I guess you could go from here. It's just more stationary then. That's not even a broadening wedge. That's kind of just a wedge. I kind of feel like that's just a wedge formed. I know. Man, I'm a son of a bitch. Yep. Yep, I know, true. I can't help it though. Like, you can see it. True, I know you can see it. I know you can see it because look, if this is starting this wedge formation, I know I always expect the unexpected too, Tucky. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, support, resistance, swing back to resistance. We already know the pattern's confirmed because it's set in a wedge. Now, a broadening wedge, it's 2 hits to support the broadening of the wedge because you need it to do it. So technically, I mean, a wedge, you're looking for the support or resistance, support, resistance. You got 2 hits on each side. The wedge is telling us what's happening. 3, now we're going to come down to 3. It's almost unavoidable. So 11-cent areas where we would target. And then we'll see support, resistance, support. Now, because it created this formation, it kind of screwed us a little bit because if it comes like this and then gets the rejection, we know we're coming down. That's not even that far, though, below where it's already drawn out. So I think it's telling us something. We're probably going to have a violent swing at some point to the top back and then go. But if we can come straight through and not have to deal with the nonsense, I'd be all for it. I don't want it to come down here just to bounce back up, just to come back down. I'd rather it, if it's me, if you're asking, what does XRP Future Millionaire want? That's what XRP Future Millionaire wants. That's what I want. If XLM does that, I'd be very happy. Anything short of that, I'm going to be speculative at best that it's going to break and not have to have a further. Because now look, you guys didn't see it, but now you can see how it double bottomed there too. Come on. That'd be the greatest falling channel or falling wedge or whatever the hell it is. Kind of does look like a falling wedge now that I look like it. Now that I look at it. Seems good to me. I hope that suffice for the one who's asked about XLM, but I think this is what's going on with XLM. Let's just be honest. That's what's going on. And some might ask, why are you on so long for the midday market report? I like to be on longer. My mindset's changing again. I'm just gonna talk. Notice how I've been in 2024. I've been going through cycles, but I'm getting to where I want to go with the community. The community's getting to a good spot. We're very helpful, very close, and now I can answer some of the things that some people asked. Were telling me to stay strong, yada yada yada. Well, that's because, as some of you know, I know not all of you know, but my aunt did pass away a couple days ago. She was fighting cancer, and she was only 67. So it was kind of hard. Tomorrow I will be at the remembrance, basically. So that'll be from like 3 to 8, the viewing. I'm going to stay there for the whole thing. So I won't be around from 3 to 8. I'll be on in the morning, do my normal update. I'll do my afternoon live, but I'll probably do it at noon tomorrow. And then before I walk out the door, you'll probably be able to see me in my suit and tie. I'll be doing my, I'll just do a short. I don't know if I'll have the mental wherewithal to do anything tomorrow night, but we'll see what happens. Probably not tomorrow night, but I'm going to put in my due diligence up until I leave. And then Wednesday is the actual funeral. It's at 9:30 in the morning, so start out the same way I always do. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do my morning update because that's what I like to do. Some people are like, oh, you should miss a day. Haven't missed a day since March of 2021. Won't happen. Never will have. Never will. And the only thing that'll stop me is if I am stopped personally and I can't do it. I broke bones in July in my hands and my fingers, and I was still on the next day. Everybody remembers my face was all beaten up. Got flipped off of my bike. Car cut me off, and I was still on the next day. You know, I've had funerals in the past. It's no fun, but, you know, it's part of life. So you'll just have to deal with me on an emotional level. But my emotion brings out the best in me, like you see today. Like, it's to put it frankly, I don't want to do a 15 to 17 minute live anymore to appease some people that don't want to stick around and talk for 60 minutes. I would rather just put all the information out and let the pieces fall where they may. I feel like we have a bigger bond when I'm on for a longer amount of time. I'm not saying it's going to be a 60-minute live, but I think it would be cool if I could start to get into the habit of a 30-minute midday market report where 10, 15 minutes is dedicated to the market, but a good 15, 20 minutes is dedicated to Bitcoin, XRP, XLM, some of the ones that are in our favorable areas. Because look what we've discovered today. Is that not a gigantic W if XRP does what XLM does what I said that I'm hoping for? So I think each and every one of us together are vitally important, and we can see more. The bottom line is we can see more together. We can see more together. By the way, my hair is getting awfully long. So XRP, my dad, it was funny. I was at his house yesterday, and it was his sister that passed away. And his other sister already passed away at 59 a couple years ago, my Aunt Paula, so that was kind of hard. And then I was at his house, though, and yesterday to watch the Lions, and they won more playoff games in the last 7 days than they've won in my lifetime, and I'm 40. They had only won one in my lifetime, so that's interesting to say the least. But he's like, I think you might have to cut your hair for your aunt's funeral. I'm like, Dad, it's my image. I'm like, but because yesterday it was all fluffy, I didn't do anything to it, so it's all like, you know, and it's in my hat, and all you can see is the back all fluffy. I'm like, Dad, when I do my hair, it actually looks nice. So, and I'm sorry I can't cut it. I'm not a professional like you, but it's not going to happen. And he's just like, okay. So, he's like, and then he comes back. The fourth quarter starts. So, is there any limitations on you cutting your goatee with this thing you're doing? I'm like, no, Dad, the goatee's not getting cut either. Soon I'm going to have it down to my, well, I didn't say it, but I almost told him I was going to have it down to my nipples and he would just have to deal with it, but I cut myself off. But But my dad's 65. He's old school. He's first generation. My grandpa's off the boat when he passed away in 2001, but he was off the boat from Italy. He was there during the whole Mussolini thing when they basically outed their own citizens. And then they ended up hanging Mussolini by his own statue. But my grandpa was in the USA by then. So yeah, my dad is just, you got to do it a certain way, work, you know, doesn't care about feelings, doesn't care about if he's yelling at his kids or if he's embracing or if he's at work. But he taught us good values. You know, I understand the values. It's just, you know, just got to be a kindred spot. He's getting a little more kindred the older he gets. But it took 5 decades for him to start. You know, he's 25 years older than me, so, you know, we'll see what happens. But, you know, it was nice. So we'll be able to see people tomorrow. But, yeah, I'm excited now about XLM, actually. I'm going to be watching this. I think XLM's setting up for a beautiful leverage trade here. It would have to meet my mark. It would have to come around 10.95. Speaking of the mark, say a prayer for my Uncle Mark. He's without my aunt, and they were married for 46 years. And they were high school sweethearts, so they've been together since they were like 14. So he hasn't known life without her, so it's going to be rough for him. That's for sure. You know, so that's going to be a little hard. But it is in life. Angela, I am so sorry for your loss. I will keep you and your family in my prayers. Crypto Scrooge, my condolences. Thank you both. True, I seen said prayers, and I seen a lot of them. Thank you, everybody, for that. Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked talking. Not something I do often, right? So that's basically in a nutshell what I'm seeing with the crypto market. And we can see with XLM, if we shorten this pattern, it's giving us everything we need. It really is. Oh my God, look how that bounces back to where I even said where it would come back up initially. See, this is perfect. This is working out too good. 10.94 should be a technical buy zone. If you're looking for a leverage trade on XLM, if you're looking to spot trade, you can also do that. My problem is I bought it at like 8.5, so I cannot possibly buy it right now until it comes 20% below. But a technical, it's lining up here for a leverage trade. Looks like it's setting up here. I don't advise you to leverage trade, but if you do, take my advice and pay attention to the levels I tell you. If you don't know how to leverage trade, don't think twice. If you're spending money from your spot trading account, don't leverage trade. Has to be in its own account, has to be its own money, period. Anything less, you're doing it wrong. If I make money in the leverage business, I don't keep it in there. I put it towards precious metals. Just, that's all it is. So, yes, let's follow the minority because usually the majority say that this will happen, and yet fate goes, yeah, that is true. That is true. Where's everybody say we're going in the crypto market right now, huh? Has anybody taken a look at what everybody's saying now? Bitcoin to 16,000. Just skipping through all of the levels. Not understanding that even with where we've dropped. Does anybody remember where XRP was in? This is interesting. We're going to go over something real quick, and it's something that I'm going to add a little bit to my show here. I'm going to show you something. I never usually do this, but I added something to what I do that I can show you. So not just that it's in a sell, but now like the year, even with what's going on, let's put it in perspective for XRP. Last week down 9%, last month down 16%, last 3 months down 4%, last 6 months down 25.7%, year to date down 14.69%. Beautiful. That's terrible if you bought in any of those time periods, if you're looking to be up. However, the 1 year, it's still up 30%. We bought at 34.4, so it's up more than 30%. So my point is when you buy, you've got to have it at a priority level where it's actually something of value. Now, where's the rest of this? What is going on here? Oh, because I clicked on it. There should be more. Where's my whole buy-sell things? What, now there's none here today? Of course not. Oh, right here. Sorry. So now we can go through, and this is pretty cool. So if we go to the relative strength, and we go through all this, look how neutral everything is. You've got 26 neutrals, no buys, no sells. When I came on here for XRP, just 48 hours ago, because I stayed up all night after my aunt passed away until like 5 in the morning, so I started to deep dive into some of these the numbers again, more so than I've done in a very long time. But it was 17 sell, 7 neutral, or 9 neutral and 2 buy, but 17 were sell still when XRP was at like 55.4. All of this is neutral now. All of it. Relative strength, going through exponential moving averages, down to simple moving averages. The pivot points, it's not even showing it right now. I don't know why. It's supposed to show my pivot points. For the week, that's in the daily. So if we move out, so in the daily, we've got 15 sells, 1 neutral. In the weekly, we've got 14 sells, 9 neutrals. In the monthly, we've got 8 sells, 10 neutrals, and 6 buys. The oscillators, you've got 1 sell, 9 neutral, 1 buy. Moving averages, 7 sell, 1 neutral, 5 buy. Pretty split. So now you go into the weekly, 12 sell, 1 neutral, 2 buy. Strong sell in the moving averages. We already know that because of where it was breaking down from. Remember, though, these are lagging indicators, too. So you have to know when the reversal is going to happen. Summary of the 14 sell, 9 neutral, 3 buys. But the oscillator, 2 sell, 8 neutrals, 1 buy. We've got, in the support on a weekly standpoint, S1 is 29.4 on the classic. The Fibonacci is 37.3. The Camarilla is, support one is 55.5. The Woody is 0.291. And the DM is 0.457, 45.7. Yeah, something doesn't seem right here, though. I feel like they messed up a number somewhere. But anyhow, that's breaking down what they've got on the technical indicators. That's why you've got to know this at a more minute level. You've got to know your own target. So daily, so S1 support is 56.2 on the classic. S2 is 50.9. S3 is 0.387. I don't know. I don't like those numbers, honestly. I think if you do it more in depth, 0.534 was S1. 0.497 is likely S2. And you come below that, then we can start talking. But you got 44 cents at S3, so I don't even know how in a classical sense this could be the support areas. It makes no sense. So, anyhow, that's the classic. That's what they're showing you. Then we can see this. But that's why if you're looking from a technical perspective, a lot of people are like, you're wrong. That's not right. You're wrong. And they give me the technical targets. And they just give me what it tells you for when you put all the indicators together. We know the true technical targets. There's no surprise. That's how we know when it's going to break before most. But look at XRP right now in the 2 hourly. It's an oversold. That's oversold. It's becoming pretty apparent that we're in the oversold. We're at 19 from a relative strength perspective. Hourly, we've started moving up. Is this the start of a reversal back to the top side? I mean, we talked about it in the beginning, going from here back to here. It's starting that move now. So, XRP back to 62 cents. Well, the first level is 536 approximately that we have to see. If we're in fact holding this support here now at 525, 524, now our next step is to come back to this resistance of this little wedge that's formed, which could also be known as a continuation on a bear flag. I mean, let's call it for what it is. It could be nothing more than a broadening wedge that's going to be a continuation to the downside. So, hope the Lions will win the Super Bowl for you. Nice to have bad. Yes. It's like for me, it's all gravy. All I really needed was Michigan. I'll be honest. I like the Lions, but I am not an NFL fan by any means. It's rigged, so I know the Lions can't win, and I believe their run ends this weekend. Don't ask me how, just ask me why. Why is because the Super Bowl logo was printed with obvious Baltimore Raven and San Francisco's 49er colors to start the season, and the past nuances of Super Bowl winners, it was in the Super Bowl when they showed the trophy on the initial illumination to say who's going to win. It always shows the colors. Well, it has Baltimore against San Francisco. So, I mean, call me crazy, but if we can beat Vegas, I don't know how that's going to happen. No offense to you, private driver. I'm glad we beat your Rams. I think what they did to Jared Goff was dirty. And not just that, you traded for a loser. No offense. You traded for somebody who was worse than the guy you had. Jared Goff would have won you that Super Bowl that Matt Stafford won you. Stafford is a bum. You've seen it when he played us in the playoffs. He threw 2 interceptions. Had to watch him for 12 miserable years. I didn't want him out of Georgia. The guy whines all the time and he throws people under the bus. Not just that, he's the single reason why Calvin Johnson had to retire early, because like he did to his receiver against us, let him into a terrible hit because he throws terrible passes. He doesn't care. He's all about his stats. Always has been, always will be. Sold his soul to the devil a long time ago. That's how he ended up on a Super Bowl team by the grace of God, and that's why the Lions now got 2 first-round picks out of it. Stafford's a champ. He didn't do anything to win that championship. His players did it for him. I seen the real Stafford when he had to be a leader. He couldn't do anything. You're lucky you had Cooper Kupp and the running backs you had on that team. That's all I'm saying. The guy was in Detroit for 12 years, didn't win 1 playoff game, never even came close. 0. So, yeah, Megatron, he cost him his career. A lot of others, too. Oh, I know that. I seen that as well. So isn't that kind of funny that happens? But as you guys can tell, the technical analysis is over. I'm about to log off. Keep telling yourself that. That's why you're sitting at home, because you have Stafford, buddy. You had way more talent than the Lions. Well, you had plenty of talent out there to beat the Lions. Let me just tell you. You lost that game because of Stafford. Try to convince me otherwise. He threw 2 picks at the worst possible times. Otherwise, you win the game. And then he comes out like a pansy like he always does. And he comes out and blames our guy, trying to say we hit the guy at the knee. What did they do to Laporta, knowing that his knee was almost torn? It's clear as day. Don't lead a guy into a hit. They targeted our guy's knee, so, you know. But I don't know. I don't even care. I just don't like Stafford. And I like that the Rams have him and they think he's the best thing since sliced bread. You guys give up 2 first-round picks to get Stafford. And a quarterback that's 26 right now. A quarterback that led you to the Super Bowl already. If Stafford could win it, he would have won it, and you could have saved yourself 2 first-round picks, and you would still be Super Bowl contenders right now. Anyhow, golf is in Super Bowl sucked. Hey, you know, say what you will. He got you to the Super Bowl. What year was he in? I'll wait. 2, 1. Stafford was on the Lions for 12 years, had more talent in multiple years, couldn't even get out of the first round. Golf's been to a team that hadn't won a playoff game since 1991. 1 playoff game in 30 years. Or what is it, 32 years, 31 years. No, in my lifetime, we won 1 playoff game. He's won 2. Stafford won 0. That's my argument. Can say he's a Super Bowl champion, and my argument to you is Golf's a better quarterback, and he would have won it too. Stafford wouldn't have won the Super Bowl with you the first time he went around. You weren't good enough. You got there because of Golf, and everybody forgets that. Had a good running game, but Golf is legit. Maybe blame Sean McVay for not putting him in the right spots. When you have a blitzing team, Golf's not good on the run, so what are you supposed to do instead of putting him in a bad position? You identify with the run very strong, you pound it, you dominate it, and you make the team kind of pull back a little bit, or push forward so that he can throw the ball. What they did was they have him coming out firing against the team. He had no chance against firing against. They brought too much pressure. But, you know, that's football. I've already given it too much time because the NFL is BS. It's rigged. And like I said, I already got what I needed. No, I don't disagree with you, but he got you to a Super Bowl. That's what everybody seems to forget. You guys ousted him after a Super Bowl and put it all on him. I'm thrilled that you guys thought that you needed a guy like Stafford and you gave us 2 first-round picks for that bum. You guys let us into a legit. It's all because of St. Louis right now. We're in the NFC Championship, and you're sitting at home and we beat you. You sold your soul for a Super Bowl. It's okay. NFL has it all the time. It's within the books. Why do you think Stafford's wife used to get all the attention in Detroit? It's no different than Taylor Swift. They already have the rig cards. We know the rig card. So, like with Michigan, it was rigged this season for them. It was the whole Harbaugh thing. Jim had to sit out the 6-game suspension, and I believe that was him paying his dues. And if his team ran the table, it was in the deck of cards. I know they had other ways, but it's all set up. And I said, for once, I'm glad that Michigan's part of the rig. Because to me, I still seen a championship. I know sports are rigged. Oh, I know they're rigged. And I knew it right when Vegas took over. So that's all, everybody. I don't want to lose my audience because I'm talking about sports. But have a good one, everybody. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. Thank you all so much. Personally, though, before Stafford went to the Rams, I loved them. You know, but now I don't like them because I don't like Stafford. So it made me hate the Rams now. No offense. But anyhow, besides that, have a good one, everybody. Watch XRP. Bitcoin came back around 40,000. Are we going to get a rejection up at 40,000, or are we going to push up a little bit more? Make sure you watch all of this, and I'll see you guys back at around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Thank you all for the support. It means the world to me. And Ed, thank you for continuing the conversation about with the football, because you know, at the end of the day, if I was you, I'd be the happiest person in the world because you got rid of those picks, but you won a Super Bowl. That's all that matters.